Hey YouTube, my name is Heather and I love anti-MLM content here on YouTube. Today I'm super excited to pick off where we left off with the famous Beachbody super trainer Autumn Calabrese, who's telling us about the all or nothing mentality. I'm really excited to finish up this video, and as always, please let me know what you think about this down below.
Since people were asking about my surgery, yes, I had surgery last week. It was elective surgery. I'm good. Everything's good. You guys, I'm not allowed to lift. I'm not allowed to sweat. So can I go hard in the gym like I normally can? No. Does that mean I sit on my butt for the next 4 weeks while I wait for my doctor to give me the go-ahead to start lifting? No. I take walks every single day. It feels good. I get dressed in the workout clothes, drink the Energize because that's part of my routine, and I take that 25-30 minutes that would be towards my workout, sometimes an hour because I did just come off Healthy Obsession, and I use that time to move my body in whatever way I can. So take a walk.
That's fine, Autumn, and that's great advice for people who really want to stay active while recovering from surgery, but not everyone is the same, and people can be impacted by the same surgery in different ways, of course. Like someone getting the exact same surgery that you just got, Autumn, could feel a lot worse. I'm assuming you probably had to go under anesthesia. Anesthesia might impact them for a bit longer. They might feel more fatigued. They might just struggle more, right? In March, I actually broke my foot stepping off of a curb, and for a while I just sat and did dumbbell exercises, but someone else who had the same injury might have, say, like struggled with sleep more than I did, might be more stressed out that they can't use their foot, and that extra added stress maybe make it harder for them to exercise, and someone else with the exact same injury might not have been able to handle doing seated dumbbell workouts. Adam, just because you have the capacity and ability to continue to exercise while you're in recovery doesn't mean that every single person in the world has that same ability.
Foam roll, stretch. Yesterday I did some things with the loops and the slides around my legs because I can. My legs aren't broken. They work just fine. So I can do those things. This is the mind shift. The all or nothing mentality is just that. It's mental. It is a mental shift that needs to change to what small thing do I have time for? Kat said the same thing because it's what I told her yesterday, you guys. She had a mole removed off of her back and she has several stitches and her doctor told her she can't work out. And I messaged her and I was like, girl, keep the routine. Keep the routine. I said, you're allowed to walk, right? She said, I'm allowed to walk. I said, you drink that go-go juice, you put your workout clothes on and you go for that walk at the same time you would get that workout in because
That's fine advice, but I hope that Kat actually did go to her doctor and say, hey, doc, am I allowed to walk? Can I go on a 30-minute walk and get a little bit sweaty? And that her doctor actually said yes, because just because it's on your back doesn't mean that you are able to walk, especially if you have stitches, especially if you can't get sweaty or you can't get it wet. And I don't appreciate that Autumn kind of dictated to Kat how she should handle her recovery from having moles removed from her back, because Autumn doesn't know the level of pain that Kat was experiencing or the mental toll that the surgery may have had on her, because even if a surgery is minor, it is still stressful. Even if you're not staying overnight in the hospital, even if you're not going under anesthesia, it's still stressful because you don't really know how your body's going to react to anesthesia or the pain. You don't know how the rest of your life is going to be impacted. And I feel like some people might need to just take a beat and recover from the mental aspect of surgery, even if they are fine physically.
you're keeping the routine established. That's all really health is establishing a series of small routines that are good for you and keeping them. It's in the busy time that we lose our routine. And when you lose your routine, that's when you fall off track and you get that all or nothing mentality. So what little things can you do to keep the routine? Can you put the workout clothes on and do the stretch? Can you put the workout clothes on and go for a short little walk? Can you put the workout clothes on? You guys, by the way, if you put the workout clothes on and do 10 minutes of a 30-minute workout, because 10 minutes is all you have time for, you don't have to feel bad and beat yourself up that you didn't have time for the other 20 minutes. Now, what I'm not doing is giving you permission to slack off. If you've got the 30 minutes, get it done. But what I am saying,
it should be, if you got the mental capacity and the mental ability to get the 30 minutes in, if you are in a good spot mentally and you're able to do it, then you should do it. Because as I said in the first part of this video, just because we have time to do something doesn't mean that it is open, available time. We need our self-care. We need to turn our brains off.
Is if you're in it for your health, then do what you can each day for your health. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, eat the veggies, grab the fruit, drink the water before the party, right? We're going to parties, people are having a little more alcohol. Great. Can you hydrate in between? Can you drink a glass of water or a bottle of water in between each glass of wine?
Unless you're on the 4-week gut protocol, and then don't drink any wine. Or if you're doing, wasn't it portion fix, you can have your wine as long as you take out another portion, another container. So have less food so you can have some wine. That doesn't seem safe, right?
There's always something you can do so that you can have the health. So that's the advice on the all or nothing mentality and how to hopefully start to break it, shift it, and shift it in a way that works for you guys. I saw a lot of questions coming in. What are some tips to work on the mindset, especially when you feel frustrated? I think doing just what I just said, some tips to focus on your mindset is you have to be aware of the mindset that you have. And if the mindset that you have is, this is hard, this sucks, I can't do it, you have to literally start saying it. You have to start saying it out loud. I can do this. I can do 5 minutes. 5 minutes doesn't suck. 5 minutes goes by like that. I can eat this piece of fruit before I go eat a bag of chips. You might not want the bag of chips after you eat the piece of fruit. Meditations are great. Somebody said, what about meditations?
I don't mind that advice. Like, if you feel like you need to eat a bag of fruit, like have some fruit, so a bag of chips, not bag of fruit, like have some fruit before you have the bag of chips, because then at least you are trying to maintain your habit of trying to eat healthier and more nutritious food. So like I don't hate that idea, and it never hurts anyone to have a little bit more fruit in a day than they normally would. However, like I think she's assuming, again, if you're not following her healthy meal plans, then you're gonna just sit down with a bag of chips. And I'm sure, like, if you're at movie night with your friends, like we've all done it, I've had bags of chips before, and like with my husband and my friends, like it happens and it's fine and like it's fun and like whatever, like we're humans, we can decide how we want to eat for ourselves. But I feel like, at least for me, I'm just talking about my experiences, it must have been years since I've eaten a whole bag of chips in one sitting. It is very, very uncommon for me. What I do is put some chips in a really little container, and that's all I have. Nothing wrong with that. I'm eating in moderation. There's balance. I'm still eating food that I enjoy while also trying to eat better throughout the day. Autumn, not everyone sits down and eats a bag of chips. I feel like I'm torn because I like parts of her advice, but I don't like other parts.
Are great. You guys, there's a million different tools. You have to find the ones that work for you. That's what's really important, is what works for you. I just mentioned at the start of this, I'm going to Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny on Friday. 6 days, 14-hour days. You get broken down so you can get broken open, and I'm so excited for it. And I will tell you, I know
a big cult tactic is not having much sleep, not having any downtime, not being able to take a break and like eat some food, go to the bathroom, have some water. And 16-hour days. When do you sleep? And I think it's because they want to have your defenses down, so you're not able to think reasonably and critically about the information that you're hearing. Has anyone been to a Tony Robbins event? If you have and you happen to watch this video, let us know your experiences down below. I'd love to hear it.
Tony is not everybody's cup of tea. You guys, he is mine. He is my shot of whiskey, because that man is not afraid to say it like it is. I am here for it. I am here for the tough love, but it's love. Like that's what I really appreciate from him. And I can
toxic masculinity, it's bullying, it's demeaning, it's manipulative, it's misogynistic. That's what it is. I feel like a lot of these self-help gurus, their version of tough love is very, very, very toxic version of masculinity, in my opinion.
Tell you, even though I work really hard on my mindset every day, there's just little things. There's little things when you find that person that you can look up to, that you can trust, that you know has been through it too. And he has been through a lot. And I have not always shared a lot about my history with you guys. One day I would really like to. One day I actually would like to go back to my hometown and show you guys where I grew up and how I grew up and give you a little bit more backstory. But like, it's the little things. I was having this conversation with my son yesterday. He had what he deemed a bad day at school because he didn't do well on his homework that he tried really hard on, and he didn't do well on a test that he studied for. And he was like, "But Mom, I was so frustrated. I took the notes that my teacher told me to take, and I studied the notes, and none of those questions were on the test." And
that sucks. We've all been through that, right? Even when we're like in university or college and we think we're so prepared and we're like so proud of ourselves for preparing. And then you're like, didn't even matter because none of the stuff I studied, none of the stuff you told me to study is on the test. So that sucks. I'm sorry, Autumn's kid.
I was going over it with him and I was like, Dom, then go back and review the test and like review the answers that you missed. And he's like, there's no point because I can't get any new points for it. This is a good lesson, you guys. He was like, I said, go back and do the homework.
He's also a kid and he's frustrated, and kids don't really have like full ability to fully regulate their own emotions. And I feel like that kind of response is really reasonable for a kid to have.
Again. And he's like, no, she's not going to change my grade. She already told me she's not going to baby me because I told her not to baby him. I was like, that in a regular school, his grade wouldn't get changed, so don't change his grade. He's got to learn. But I was like, Dom, go back and do it again. It's not about the grade. I said, do you want to be good or do you want to be great? I know you're great, honey, because I watch the greatness in him when he's doing something that he loves.
So in some subjects in school, I could not be great. I just barely made it through math. I barely made it through science. I was good in like the more artsy side, more artsy classes in elementary school and high school. For some people, it's important just to get through the experience and get through the other side. For me, it was important to just pass math. I did not care about being great because I knew in my career I was not going to use math significantly, so I literally just needed to pass. But in my other classes, my goal was to get an A, and I usually did.
Watch this kid teach himself so many things that blow my mind. He has taught himself to skateboard, and when I say taught himself, I mean like tricks and everything. He has taught himself to trampoline. When I say trampoline, I mean he gets on the trampoline, he watches YouTube videos, and he can dissect it in a way that I would like never understand, and he gets up there and he does these tricks. He's taught himself the ukulele, he's taught himself the guitar, and he's ready to teach himself piano.
That's nice. Nice to see Autumn as like a proud mom. But I think like she's trying to teach a lesson like, look, my kid, who's still a kid, who's still dependent on me, is able to teach himself all of these crazy things. If he can do it, then you can do it too. Not everyone's the same. Even if people are adults, a lot of people would not be able to teach themselves multiple things like your young son does. But it is nice that she's proud of him.
Quite talented when it's something he enjoys. But when it's not, he just doesn't give it his all. And so I was on the phone with him for like 20 minutes and I was like, you have to decide what kind of person you want to be. Do you want to be good or do you want to be great? I said,
he can be a great person even if he doesn't want to spend a lot of time going over his math test that he got a bad grade in. I don't think those two things are related.
Dom, you watch mom all the time get frustrated, argue with people, struggle. I said, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of parts of my job that I don't particularly enjoy. Like, I love the creative side, I love the training side, I love being there with you guys. I don't really like the emails and the meetings. I'm just like, can we get past this point? But I was like, Dom, you always hear mom do it, and you see me put my best in. Because at the end of the day, that's my name and that's my face on that work. And I won't put anything less than what is my best on my work. That's my signature. I know it's my best. So it might not be the best for somebody else. They might want more. But if I know I got there and I gave it my all and it was the best I can do, I can hold my head up high and I can be proud. And if somebody gives it back to me with notes and says, well, this is how it can be better, I'm going to go back and work on it again and try to improve it. Doesn't mean I'm going to make more money in the moment. It doesn't mean that my boss is going to be like, woohoo, go you. But it means that I tried my best. So that's what I was explaining to him with his homework and his test, is you can be good or you can be great. And okay, I understand you're not super happy. You studied and you didn't get the grade you wanted. So what are you going to do now?
I think a lot of people have the ability to have a goal in their head and then know that they're going to fall short. And then instead of being upset, they just do what they can do in the moment, like she's telling us to do. And that's great. Other people can't do that. Other people have, I've said this 1,000 times, different mental capacities and capabilities to react in certain ways. People might have like a mental health challenge. People might be working through impulsivity or emotional regulation with therapists. People might have just gone through a stressful time at work. People might have obsessive tendencies where if they don't do something the way they wanted to do it, then they're just going to beat themselves up over it and not give themselves any leeway. So like, I'm torn again because I appreciate this advice. I do, but it's not for everyone, and not everyone has the ability to follow this type of advice.
Are you going to go back and review it so you can be great? Or are you going to say, well, it's not going to change my grade, so it's not worth the effort? Guys, the shift is there for you too. Do you want to be good or do you want to be great? How do you want to see yourself? How do you want to present yourself to the world?
And if you're struggling with an all or nothing mentality, it's not because you just want to be good. It's not because you want to present yourself to the world in a certain way. In the Beachbody context, I think it's because that's the narrative and ideology that has been ingrained in the company since it opened, but especially since it started its MLM business structure. It could also mean, as I just said, you're going through something mentally, financially, with your family, with your friends, and your mental capacity is lower and your emotional regulation is lower. Does not mean that you don't want to be great at things or really achieve your health and fitness goals. It just means you could potentially be going through something.
I won't put anything less than my best out there. You shouldn't put anything less than your best out there for yourself either. Anyways, speaking of all of this, I'm going to go drink my go-go juice and I'm going to go walk on the treadmill. It's a little humid outside, which, oh my God, I love so much. It makes me so happy. But since I'm not allowed to really sweat, I need to walk in the air conditioning. So I'll just look out my window at the pretty view. But I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. I will definitely try to be checking in. Tony Robbins starts on Friday and it's a 6-day long event. Like I said, 14 hours a day in a room doing the things. So I'll try to either get on early in the morning or at 2 o'clock in the morning when he lets us out. But I'll try to share some things that I am learning with you guys, some mindset stuff that I am learning. I'm super excited for it. You guys can choose to make a shift anytime you want.
No, we can't choose it. We can't choose it. Like people can't necessarily control what they're going through and how their brain reacts to the things that they're going through. I think that's the kind of the same kind of narrative is like you can choose to not have struggles with depression or other anxiety or mental health. We can control our thoughts. Sometimes people have intrusive thoughts. Sometimes people have obsessive tendencies that they cannot control. Autumn. Not everyone is the same. Autumn and Beachbody and Carl. People react to situations in different ways. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed part 1 and 2 of this video. I'd love to hear your opinions on Autumn telling us how to get over the all or nothing mentality without acknowledging her role in the role of Beachbody in creating and proliferating this mentality throughout the coach community. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you next time. Bye.